Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you 10 tips to help you get the best quilting experience while you're working. Now, we all love those days where everything works, everything flows beautifully. There's no problems in the sewing room. It just feels like it was meant to be. Hi, I'm Kristen with ICStarsQuilting.com. I share my tips, tricks, and tutorials here on my YouTube channel for you, as well as on my website. I'm also a quilting instructor. Now, I get asked by a lot of quilters how they can get better at quilting fast, okay? Advice on how they can get through the frustrating parts and get onto the happy sunny days that we talked about earlier. You know, I get it. There is a lot to overcome out there. You have so many different options for patterns. You have different options for fabric, different types of fabric. You have all these different tools and ideas and things, and it gets really, really overwhelming. So today I'm going to break it down for you a little bit. There's a lot of shortcuts and a lot of tips that a lot of people do not know when they're starting out quilting. Tip number 10 is when picking out a pattern, do something that inspires you. You know what I mean? When you get that little like spark of joy in your heart and you're like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. I don't know how I could do that, but I think that's really beautiful. If it's something that you feel even slightly comfortable taking on, do it. Learn it as you go, figure it out as you go. This will help you gain your skills immensely. Don't go for something and think, well, there's probably not very much chance that I could totally mess that one up. I'll go with that one. You know, there's no like big spark of joy in that. Like, sure, you could probably do it, but you're not going to grow your skills and you're not going to be completely in love with the process. If you're a super, super beginner quilter and like everything scares you, it's okay. I'm gonna put a link up at the top right over here. I want you to go and check this video out. It is a step-by-step tutorial for a jelly roll quilt, and I walk you through every single step. It is one that I know you can do, and it'll help you gain some skills while you're working on it. The next tip is get really good at cutting, okay? I know. When you cut with a rotary cutter, you want precise, exact cuts, okay? If you don't start getting really, really good at this step in the process, you're going to have to choose between getting really, really good at cutting or really, really good at fixing your mistakes when you are cutting, okay? You can't have it like both ways and have a really, really good quilt that is precise that you're proud of, okay? So choose either really, really good at cutting or really, really good at fixing those mistakes, because if you don't start out with precise cuts, you're not going to end up with precise quilt piecing. Do what the pattern tells you to do, okay? Follow the pattern, follow the advice. The person who created the pattern has a specific way of doing things. But if you're gonna go rogue and you're gonna choose to do things completely out of order, pick the part that is the hardest and start with that, okay? If it's piecing like different quilt blocks, pick the hardest block and start with that one, and then everything after that will be so much easier. You'll have the hard part behind you. Let's go back to cutting real quick, okay? If you're looking for really, really precise cuts, you need to use really, really precise tools. If you can't remember the last time that you changed your rotary blade, it's probably time for a new one. If your rotary blade happens to skip spots while you're cutting, like it leaves little uncut spots, that's because there is a chip in the blade and it definitely needs to be changed, because every time you have to go back over that spot to get it actually cut, you're kind of chancing the ruler shifting a little bit, right? So make sure you have really good sharp rotary blades. I change my rotary blade probably every 3 months or so. I don't have a specific like schedule or regimen or anything, but if I notice that they're missing some spots, or like I've chipped it somehow on the edge of the ruler, I will change it. Now, something else you need to make sure you change regularly is your sewing machine needle, okay? You can't expect to have amazing, amazing results and like if you're not taking care of the tools that you have, okay? Change your sewing machine needle about every 10 hours or so. If that's really hard for you to figure out, every time you start a brand new quilt project, change your sewing machine needle, okay? If you are doing a whole lot of sewing through really, really thick fabric, make sure you're using the right needle for that, okay? That's going to help your machine last a lot longer and be with you to sew more and more projects. This is a tip that is for all of you wonderful perfectionists out there. You're my people, okay? You are my people. You understand. Okay, when you start a project, in order to keep yourself in the right mindset and the right frame of thought here, okay? The right frame of mind, I want you to decide, is this a quilt that, or a project, whatever you're working on, that is going to hang in a museum, that is going to be judged, that I'm going to enter in competitions, that I want to win awards and be an amazing, spectacular show quilt? Or is this quilt something that I just want people to wrap themselves up in, people that I love and people that I care for? Because that's two different audiences. And I feel like a lot of quilters set the bar really, really high in the perfectionism category. Do what makes you happy. But the last thing that you need is to stress yourself over a quilt that isn't going to be a show quilt, that nobody but you is going to see those errors and nobody but you is really going to judge you on. If this is a quilt that is for somebody that I really, really love and I know that they're going to appreciate it, whether I have a little spot that probably should have been picked out and redone at least 3 times, okay? I don't worry about it. And you need to keep that frame of mind, because a lot of times we just get so concentrated on all those little bitty errors. By the time it is done, all we see is just a mistake. And in reality, it's not a mistake. It's still made with love and care. So keep that in mind while you're working on your quilts. Okay, this one kind of goes in a little bit hand in hand with the last tip that I gave, okay? I want you to make friends with your seam ripper. I know, they get a really, really bad rap. I've never seen somebody get so mad over a tool as I do the seam ripper, okay? I've seen a lot of quilters. Everybody has this like intense hatred towards their seam ripper. Guys, I don't know about you, but that's like the most useful learning tool in my sewing room. Yes, it's frustrating when you're having to go and pick out the seam for like the 9th time because you still weren't paying attention and you still sewed it wrong, or it's a skill that you're learning. It's frustrating. But that seam ripper gives you the opportunity to undo it, make things new again, and try again, okay? It's not a bad thing. Don't use your seam ripper to take out your frustrations, okay? Then do it. Just make friends with it and move on, because you don't need that negative energy invading your space when you're trying to create something amazing. If you regularly travel with your sewing machine, say you have a sewing quilt guild meetup once a month, or you go over to a friend's house once a week, or you go over there for a few hours and you want to bring your sewing stuff so that you can sew together, or if you're going to a retreat, you know, I mean, there's a bunch of different things that you can do with it. If you travel with your sewing machine often, make a to-go bag with all of your tools in it, okay? It is really, really handy to keep all of your necessary tools in that bag and just travel with them every single time. Make a friend who gets what you do and why you do it, okay? If they're not a quilter, but they still support you and they still encourage you and still want you to be happy, those are good people too, okay? But if you can find a quilter that gets you, that's even better, because I know a lot of quilters, and here's the thing that I know about a lot of quilters. Don't get your feelings hurt. This isn't personal, okay? We quilters, we're crazy, and we know we're crazy, all right? We take perfectly good fabric, we chop it up into a bunch of pieces, and then we sew it all back together to make a smaller but prettier piece of fabric. Then we sew some more on top of it. We add more fabric on the back. We do all kinds of embellishments and crazy things to it. And then we give it to other people. Like really, really expensive pieces of art we give to other people to snuggle up with and wrinkle up on the bed, okay? We're a little bit crazy. And that's why it's important to find somebody who gets what you do. Life is just so much better all around, okay? It's so much better to have a friend with you in this. This is an important area in your sewing room, you need to make a timeout corner, okay? This is going to be a sanity saver for you, because if you really love quilting and quilting is your stress release, it makes you happy, you need to make a timeout corner. Because if a project you're working on and you feel it like siphoning the joy out of your life because everything is just not working and you're frustrated with it and you don't know what to do, you need to make a timeout corner. I have a video that talks about quilt guilt. I'm gonna put it up here across the top of the screen. That will help you know when enough is enough with a project and you can move on, or whether you come back to it. But if you have a spot that you can just take that and put it away for a little while, take some distance, it's really, really good. You can come at it another time with a little bit clearer head, a little bit more energy, and a little bit more clarity on how to fix the problem. This is a tip for all of my crafty odds and ends little hoarders. I mean, you know I love you. I am a collector of stuff myself, as you can, obviously see like behind me. Don't collect absolutely everything that you can get your hands on. Start collecting and using the things that you love, okay? There's a spiral that every single crafter goes down, okay? And it starts with having too many things to store, also known as not enough storage, okay? You have guilt because you don't want to throw these things away. You think, oh, they're perfectly good things. I'm gonna use this someday. I need to keep it. So you keep it. You have guilt when you find it again a second time that you never used the thing that you said you were going to use. And then you have guilt when you go out and you buy new things and you come home and there's not enough space to store them because the things that you don't really like but you feel guilty giving away are still there, and they're taking up physical space in your room for things that you don't really even like, and you can't put your new things that you really do like in those spaces. Collect the things that you love and the things that you know you will use, okay? And then be good stewards of the items that you have and put them into use. Make beautiful things with them. So that's that. I hope that those 10 tips really helped you. I kind of dug a little bit deeper in this video instead of telling you things like make sure your sewing machine is clean, which, by the way, links up there if you do need to do that. That was a bonus tip. I tried to dig a lot deeper into the things that will actually bring you more joy in your quilting and make it a better experience for you. If you have other tips or advice that you would like to share, things that you have learned, things that make your quilting experience more enjoyable and make things easier for you to get in there and do what you love, make sure you put them in the comments down below, okay? A lot of quilters go through these comments. Help each other out, right? If there's something that I missed that is very important to you, add it down to the comments. I want to read through them. I will read through every comment, and I love to respond to the comments too. Also, if you don't already subscribe to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. I do live videos that are member only where you can ask me absolutely anything, and they are so much fun. So yeah, make sure you subscribe, make sure you join, and I will have so many more tips, tricks, tutorials for the modern quilter coming for you soon. My name is Kristen with ICStarsQuilting.com. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Go create something really, really fun, okay? Go create something fun, and also check out these videos right here next to me here. They're good ones, okay? Check out those videos. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.